Hi friends! If you're trying to figure out what varnish to use on your paper pieces, you're going to want to stick around today. I'm going to show you what I like to use, and I'm also going to apply it to my paper pieces so that you can see it done in action. Alright, so I've got 4 of these laid out. These are my paper pieces. These are 9 by 12 inch on Bristol paper. And I've got 4 of them that I need to varnish, so I've kind of laid them out here on my work surface. And the first thing that I like to do is I actually like to use a spray varnish. So I've been using this golden matte archival varnish, which has been great. I went to go reorder and I realized how expensive it really was. A little out of my price point, so I decided to go with this one. I've used this one before. It works just as great as the golden, and it also works over oil, which is great because sometimes I've got some mark making that is kind of oil based. I don't use oil pastels, but I use China markers, which kind of feel, they're also called grease pencils, so they do leave kind of a grease mark behind. So I think this one actually works better because it's multi-purpose. So I'm going to be using that one today, and I already shook this up before I got the camera going, so I'm not going to shake it up too much more right now. And basically I will spray everything first, and the reason for that is because I've got some mark making on here that I've done with water soluble pencils, and I want to make sure that those don't smudge when I go to put a liquid varnish over it. So I'm trying to preserve that. I've got some pencil marks down in this corner or in this area here, so I don't want those to smear when I put the varnish on. The liquid varnish. So let's go ahead and get these sprayed. Okay, that does it for that. So you can find this, I've got a link in the notes below, and you'll find this on my Amazon page if you'd like to order it. And I would say that it's important that when you are using a spray that you spray outside. I sprayed inside because I'm trying to record this for you, but I am going to go ahead and set these outside now so that they dry completely, and then we're going to move forward with putting a liquid varnish on them. Alright, so we are back, and I brought these all back in, and after I had them out for 10 minutes. So the instructions really say to just have it out for at least 5 minutes between coats, but I decided to have them out outside in the air for 10 minutes and brought them back into my studio here. The other thing I wanted to say about this is I am using a matte varnish spray, and the reason I like to use matte is because I just want a very light layer that is going to protect those marks, and with the matte I'm not going to build up sheens. So what happens with, and I don't have a gloss spray, oh yes I do, here we go. So this one is a high gloss varnish. So if I was to put this on and I kind of missed some areas, let's say I didn't get a nice spray on it, what's going to happen is it's going to show the areas that I missed because there's going to be a buildup of gloss varnish. With the matte, it's a flat finish, so therefore if I miss a spot it's not going to show at all. So that's why I like to use the matte. And then the other things I wanted to tell you about this is also it is non-yellowing, so it's not going to turn your paintings yellow over time. And then the other thing is if I don't have a spray varnish available, then a fixative works as well. So either one of those is great for getting down that first layer so that you can protect your mark making. Alright, so that's it on that. And then I want to move on to liquid varnish. So Liquitex is the one that I prefer. I've been using different ones over the years. I think somewhere on my shelf here I have golden, and I wasn't happy with the golden because and I don't know if I had an older version of it or something, but I had to mix it with water. It seemed like I could never get the right ratio, and then I had to put it in separate jars afterwards. With the Liquitex, I use it directly out of the container, and I don't have to pre-mix, I don't have to do any mixing, and I don't have to save it in a separate container. So that's what I like about it. So this one here is a satin. For years I've used satin on my pieces, especially my canvas pieces. And then I've also got a matte. I love the matte, especially on my larger pieces. I kind of go back and forth between satin and matte, and sometimes even a gloss. It depends on the piece and how I want to finish it. So I've got matte, and then today we're going to be using gloss. I love using the gloss on my paper pieces. These are small pieces of art, and I feel like when I put the gloss down, it really makes it pop quite a bit. So I'm going to go ahead and do that today. And I don't have to empty it into another container. However, I do like to shake it up a little bit, and I don't like to, I'm not going to flip it upside down and shake it. I'm just going to gently stir it around because I don't want to get bubbles into it. And then before I get into that, let's talk about brushes. So this is the brush I have been using. It's a well, let's see what kind of brush. Synthetic brush, that's what I want to say. And this one I've had for like 3 or 4 years, and you can see that it's really stuck in here, and I can't seem to separate out those bristles. So, and you can kind of see, maybe if I get it up close enough, you can see that there's product stuck in there over time. So I'm going to retire this one from using it for varnishing, and I just picked up at the local not grocery store, it was at Lowe's home improvement store. So I just picked up this one. This is a smaller one, and I also picked a larger brush like this. This is a 2.5 inch, and it's for latex paints because I want the synthetic bristles. And this one is a nice size. I like that it's small, it's a 2 inch, and I can just hold it easily in my hand, and it is brand new. So we get to try this one out today. So what you can do is when you're ready to start using your gloss, you can actually put it into some kind of a container. And sometimes I'll do that when I'm working on larger pieces. But because I'm using a small piece, I'm going to just put it directly onto the paper. So I'm going to set that aside. And let's go ahead and do that. So I kind of shook this around a little bit, and I'm just going to pour it right on like this. And then I'm going to take my brush, and because I put down that spray varnish first, I'm not worried about anything moving around. All of my mark making will stay in place. So I'm going to just spread it around like this. And just from top to bottom. And for these pieces on paper, I don't do multiple coats. I do one really good first coat, and that is sufficient. It covers it entirely. And the way that I can tell that it's completely covered is if I let it shine off of a light, I check to see, like right there I can see a bubble, so I'm going to just take that out a bit. And I can see by just moving it around that it is completely covered. If I miss an area, I can quickly come in and just add a little bit more to it where needed. So this one looks good. I just saw that one bubble up there. So I'm going to go ahead and set this one down. One thing I want to show you here, if you can see right there, that red popping through is actually Neocolor 2 crayons. So those are getting protected, and actually the spray varnish already added a layer of protection on that. All right, so that's the first one. I'm just going to go down the line here, and I'll get these other ones done as well. Alright, so this one is done. I'm just going to check it. And I'm not seeing any bubbles. Here, I just want to spread that out. Okay, next one. So now that these are completely varnished and they are very much wet, they're going to be sitting here, and I'm going to let them dry. And typically I let them dry overnight, which is usually a sufficient amount of time for them to thoroughly dry. And before I package and I ship them, I like to let them dry for several days so that nothing gets stuck while it's being shipped out, because I ship it flat and I don't want it sticking to anything. So these will dry, and they'll be dry to the touch overnight, but then I'm going to let it dry for a couple of more days before I package them up and mail them. So again, these are the two products that I was using today. A spray varnish first, so that your mark making is not spoiled by the liquid varnish. And the liquid varnish, I love the Liquitex products. Again, you'll find links to my favorite art supplies in the show notes. And if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Lets me know that you liked what I've provided, and it'll allow me to create more for you. Also, subscribe to my channel and you'll get notifications of when I have another video ready for you to see. I really appreciate you watching today, and feel free to leave a message below. I am happy to answer any questions you might have. And also, if you've used Liquitex before, let me know what you think about it. Or if you've used any other products that you really like, let me know about them. I'd love to hear. Thank you again for watching. I hope you guys have a wonderful creative day.